So I got to say it, well played, slimy Democrats. You stooped to the lowest possible stratagem, coming out, waiting till the Brett Kavanaugh hearings were over, then releasing this anonymous attack about a supposed sexual event that happened 35 years ago in high school. There's no way, there is no possible way that this should matter. If the guy's life has been as clean as it seems to have been for the last 35 years, there's no way it can be proved. And so there's no way to address it, personally. And yet, because of this Me Too garbage that's going around, some of it's garbage, some of it's not. But because in this case, it is being used in a garbage-like way, well played, slimy Democrats. They had to put off the vote on Thursday, and they are now going to have a hearing where the lady will be able to come forward and state her case. And Kavanaugh, who not only says the thing never happened, he says he wasn't even at the party where it was supposed to have happened. He will also testify. Of course, the Democrats do not want this to happen. They are just trying to delay the whole thing. Dianne Feinstein has already said, oh, we're rushing to judgment. They're not rushing to judgment. They're just going to have the testimony. You can bet they will do everything to obfuscate and delay. They will do everything they can to hold this off. That's all it's about. But you got it from Thursday to Monday. Well played, slimy Democrats. And just so we remember that this is who the Democrats are. It is not, for all I can tell, who the Republicans are. They have their own problems, their own things that I yell at them about. They can be spineless, they can be inert, but they do not do this stuff. Just to remember who basically made this a steady, standard operating procedure in Congress. Let us go back to Harry Reid during the Mitt Romney, Barack Obama election. He went out on the floor of the Senate and maligned both the Koch brothers and Mitt Romney. He said Mitt Romney didn't pay his taxes because on the floor of the Senate, you can't be sued. You can't be sued for slandering somebody on the floor of the Senate. And here was Harry Reid when he was questioned on CNN about these tactics.
He used the Senate floor to go after GOP mega donors, the Koch brothers, and accuse Mitt Romney of not paying his taxes with no evidence.
Let him prove that he has paid taxes, because he hasn't.
Oh, I don't regret that at all. The Koch brothers, no one would help me. They were afraid the Koch brothers would go after them. So I did it on my own.
So no regrets about Mitt Romney, about the Koch brothers? Because some people have even called it McCarthyite.
Well, they call it whatever they want. Romney didn't win, did he?
Romney didn't win, did he? So it doesn't matter that I lied about him. It doesn't matter that I stood on the Senate floor, the floor of the United States Senate, and said he did not pay taxes. Romney didn't win. That is all this is about. So this is the thing this is why I say well played, slimy Democrats, because now we're all discussing, well, does it matter? Who do we believe? Me Too, sexual, blah, 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 high school, this and that, whatever. All that stuff. It's not about any of that. It is about they do not want a conservative vote on the Supreme Court because they believe the Supreme Court should be a super legislature that will churn out left-wing law. 5 people churning out left-wing law because they cannot get approval from the populace, so they don't need it in the Supreme Court. It's all this is about. Look, one of 3 things is true, right? One of 3 things. Either it didn't happen, that's one. 2, it happened and it speaks to his character. So for 35 years, Brett Kavanaugh has been a secret abuser of women. Soon all these women will come out and finally he will rip off his mask and reveal that he's really Bill Clinton in disguise or Ted Kennedy or one of the other scurrilous Democrats the left and the media rally round when they're the ones who are in trouble. So and then in that case, I would say, get rid of him. Get rid of him. If he's really Ted Kennedy, if he's really Bill Clinton in disguise, and this whole 35 years of absolute perfect reputation means nothing, then I'll say get rid of him. Then there's the third possibility that I talked about yesterday, that for 35 years, he has been an unimpeachable, terrific guy, doing what was right, trying to live an honest life. And once in high school, he got drunk and mauled this girl. In which case, again, I just don't care. I do not care. I think you have to be able, if I was there the day after, that would have been a different thing. But we live in time, not just in space. That's why abortion's wrong. We're not only who we are now, but who we will be. He has erased that with his life, and I don't think he should be used. Now, the other thing is, it's simply, after 35 years, it simply cannot be proved or disproved. And I mean, I wrote a memoir with no motive but to speak honestly about my life and my conversion to Christianity, the great good thing. And now and again, I would bring the manuscript in and my wife would read it and say, that's not how that happened. It happened totally differently. And we'd have to discuss it. And sometimes she was right. Sometimes I was right. We forget things over 35 years. The accuser says she was drunk, that her memory is hazy. There's no way to prove it. And of course, all the left has to do is what Kamala Harris, former prosecutor, what she did, the way she put it on TV yesterday, is cut number 2.
It comes down to credibility, to your point, Gail, and it's going to be about listening to what each party has to say. But I believe her. Listen, first of all, anybody who comes forward at this point to be prepared to testify in the United States Senate against someone who's being nominated to one of the most powerful positions in the United States government, that takes an extraordinary amount of courage. And frankly, you know, I have personally prosecuted sexual assault cases, and my concern is, and she knows this, she is putting herself out there knowing that they're going to try and excoriate her. And she's doing it, I believe, because she knows that this is an important matter. It's a serious matter who serves on that court. And she has the courage to come forward. She has nothing to gain.
Well played, slimy Democrats. Seriously, I mean, she looks credible. I believe her. Who cares if you believe her? Who cares if she looks credible? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You are innocent till proved guilty. There is no way to prove this. There's no way to disprove it. There were no witnesses. The one witness she says was there says it also never happened. A guy named Mark Judge. He says it also never happened. Kavanaugh has been adamant about this. He says it absolutely, I never did this to anybody. Nothing like it ever happened. So it's brilliant. You know, now we're sitting around discussing, well, women must be heard. Why? Why? Women needn't be heard any more than men need be heard after 35 years saying something that cannot be proved. You should not, your career, your life, nothing should be based on a person coming forward with information like this. And we know how the press is going to play it. We know because they've already started. Yesterday, Matthew Dowd, who bills himself as chief political analyst on ABC News. And he's certainly, we have a picture of him, but you put the picture up just so you know who he is. Matthew Dowd, right, former Republican guy, calls himself a proud independent. This is what he tweets. Okay, listen to this. Right? This is in the United States of America. This is what this media guy tweets. Enough with the he said, she said storyline. If this is he said, she said, then let's believe the she in these scenarios. She has nothing to gain and everything to lose. For 250 years, we have believed the he in these scenarios. Enough is enough. Now, that tweet raises an interesting question. What the hell are you talking about, you stupid knucklehead? What the hell? What on earth is he talking about? For 250 years, we believe one thing. You're innocent until proved guilty. I'm not aware that women have been unfairly treated in these things. It's just that if you can't prove it, you can't prove it. You can't send a man to prison. You can't destroy his career, or a woman, anybody, to prison. You can't destroy his career with unsupported allegations. I mean, that is the very, very basis of Anglo-American law. And he's saying, well, enough of that. We've had quite enough of that justice for 250 years. No more. We don't want any more of that justice here. We want to delay this nomination. So we have, again, well played, slimy Democrats. It cannot be proved. And now too, they have managed to maneuver Kavanaugh into a situation where there actually is an issue. There actually is an issue. I said yesterday, and I say it again, that if he did this in high school, he got out of hand. I don't believe he did. I don't believe it at all. But if he did, I don't care. But now there's an actual issue. Susan Collins, who has been very fair about this, I mean, she's a liberal for my taste, but that doesn't mean she's dishonest, and she has been stalwart and steady about what she said. She gave this comment to the press, and listen to what she says, because it actually raises an important issue.
We need to know what happened. It's my understanding that the staff is doing interviews or has proposed to do interviews, and then that, I assume, would be the prelude to some sort of hearing.
Senator Collins, how did you
believe Dr. Ford?
I don't know enough about Dr. Ford and her allegations yet to reach that kind of judgment. That's why having the opportunity to observe her being questioned, read a transcript or and a deposition, and make that kind of assessment is so important. Obviously, if Judge Kavanaugh has lied about what happened, that would be disqualifying.
See, that's the well played, slimy Democrats. Well played, because now you wait till the hearing is over. Then Dianne Feinstein releases this anonymous charge. Then the woman is forced to come forward because she wants to be heard. I understand that, and she has this memory. I have no idea what it refers to, but she has this memory. She didn't talk about it for 30 years, but then she did. No one else in the room corroborates, but there it is. She wants to come forward, and Kavanaugh says, and says he will say under oath, this never happened. I wasn't there. If he's lying, if it can be shown that he's lying, then of course that is disqualifying. Even I would say, you can't go to your hearings in the Supreme Court and commit perjury. After all, you're not Bill Clinton. You're not above the law. You're not a Democrat. You're a Republican. You have to obey the law. It's not, you can't just like drive your girlfriend into the drink and leave her there to drown while you set up an alibi and change clothes. My God, you're a Republican. What's wrong with you? What on earth made you think that you could transgress the law like a Democrat? Well, you can't. You can't. Why? Because we Republicans, we conservatives actually have principles, and we will hold you to them. So well played, slimy Democrats. You have now put the guy in a position where there is something on the line, which is whether he's lying. But it's not whether you believe the woman, it's whether she can prove these allegations. That's the only thing that he has to stand up to. Only proof, not allegations. You know who else is playing this well, though? I have to say Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been unlike himself. He has been really restrained, really measured. His comments have been excellent. Here he is talking about this just as the press shout at him.
They had this information for many months, and they shouldn't have waited till literally the last days. They should have done it a lot sooner. But with all of that being said, we want to go through the process. One thing I will say is that, as I understand it, Judge Kavanaugh spent quite a bit of time with Senator Feinstein, and it wasn't even brought up at that meeting, and she had this information. So you would have thought certainly that she would have brought it up at the meeting, not wait till everything's finished and then have to start a process all over again. But with all of it being said, we want to go through a full process. I have great confidence in the U.S. Senate and in their procedures and what they're doing. And I think that's probably what they're going to do. They'll go through a process and hear everybody out. I think it's important. I believe they think it's important. But again, he is one of the great intellects and one of the finest people that anybody has known. You look at his references, I've never seen anything quite like it.
Smart. Don't back down, but don't jump the gun. Plus, he finally declassified some of these documents that will tell us whether the FISA warrant in the Russia collusion case was actually a political document or not. He said he's going to he called for the immediate declassification of selected portions of the FISA application on former Trump Foreign Policy aide Carter Page, as well as all FBI reports prepared in connection with the FISA warrant request. People have been calling for him to do it. I think it's a great idea, and I love the Democrat reaction. The Democrat reaction is basically, you can't interrupt our baseless innuendos with the truth. We're lying here. Hold down the truth, please. Hey, could we have some cover up to cover as we slander you, please? So this one guy, Senator Eric Swalwell, one of ours. He's one of our senators in California, Congressman Eric Swalwell in California. In 2017, he called for, he said, if the president wants to say that Susan Rice committed a crime, he has the power to declassify. Let him declassify the documents. No one else has that power. He could actually show us where the crime was. I don't expect he will, because I think this is just more obstructionism. Yesterday, when he heard the news that he was going to declassify governments, the same guy, Congressman Swalwell, goes, lawless. He's absolutely lawless. Donald Trump is the subject of an investigation. Using his power to selectively release classified information is an abuse of power. It's like, do not interrupt our baseless innuendos with the truth. The one thing I got to say, the Democrats, they are slimy, they are low, but they won the day yesterday. So well played, slimy Democrats. My congratulations to you all. You can pick up your Emmy at the Emmy program, but no one will be watching.